Hi everyone, welcome to Ethernal Realms and welcome to this video. We will talk about the June astrology and we will also get into your zodiac specific behavior throughout this month. I will still be making tarot videos, so if you're interested in a tarot reading, you can access that as I upload it. Subscribe and hit the bell so you are notified whenever the videos are up. On the 2nd of the month, you have a harmonious aspect happening between your 3rd house and your 11th house. So your mindset is on board with the big picture plans, hopes, and aspirations that you have. Venus in Cancer is trining Neptune in Pisces. So your dreams and your imagination are quite clear to you and they're accessible to your mind here. On the 4th, we have a full moon in the sign of Sagittarius, and the sun is in Gemini, the moon is in Sagittarius. That is going to activate your 2nd and 8th house. These are the financial houses. The 2nd house talks about your own personal finance, and the 8th house is about the shared resources. So you might have a conversation with everyone that you share your resource with, be it roommates or your partner, business or otherwise, in order to recalibrate or to understand better how much finance are you saving and how much are you investing in the future, how much do you have saved already, and are there any changes needing to be made. Whenever we have a full moon, we talk about illumination. There is some new information that comes to light, some type of clarity that dawns on us, and that shows a pivot point. A cycle completes and a new one is trying to emerge here. We might need to surrender certain things and release certain financial burdens or obligations at this time, or change the way that we approach our sense of security. There can be a mindset shift as well, and you are reprioritizing what you want to be spending your time, energy, and resource on. The same day, we have Mercury joining with Uranus in your zodiac, so there can be some change of mind that happens within you. You might have this brilliant new insight and innovative solution to something that has been ongoing, be it finances or otherwise. There can be some personal shifts, personality changes as well that you will be undergoing around this time. That can feel a little bit uncomfortable because you're not one to change very suddenly. You are known for your reliability, but this is something that has been coming for quite some time, and you have sensed it in the past since the end of April, but now it is coming into fruition. So this is a change of mind. We are bringing something, a genius idea from the higher mind, from the collective or higher self, whatever you want to believe in, and bringing that into commonsensical approach. We need to find an idea that is practicable. Just because you're changing your hairstyle does not mean it is something impractical, right? There is still that sobering touch of Taurus, but it is still a huge change in some way. On the 5th, we have Venus moving into Leo, and that's going to be your 4th house. So there are some blessings coming in towards your family members, towards you, your home situation, your private self, your emotions as well. And you might enjoy more being at home or connecting with the siblings you have, your children as well, if you have any, and also your authority figures in life, whoever your father figure was as well. You might connect quite well with that. Also, you're connecting deeper with your own inner sense of confidence. You might be wanting to present yourself more in a way that showcases who you really are. You are feeling confident in yourself, doing whatever it is that you are by yourself. Okay, it's not necessary that you are going to write poetry and then publish that, but you might write poetry just for you. Or if you're more of someone who plays music or draws something, you're doing something that is enjoyable to you, it's entertaining to you, but you might be doing this by yourself. The same day, we have an opposition with Pluto in Aquarius. You might have some responsibilities in the workspace, but that is shifting and changing in a way. Perhaps you don't want to be spending too much time following your goals and ambitions. Perhaps there is some change that you're trying to make, and you're trying to first understand that yourself from the deep down before you make any long-term changes. But there can be some type of trigger that happens here in the workspace or with an authority figure that makes you think, maybe I need to change something faster. So that gives you an extra boost of incentive to understand yourself much better. On the 7th, we have Venus squaring the North Node. Venus is in Leo and the North Node is in your sign. So your first house versus your fourth house. There can be some personal commitments that you have, or some things that you're trying to accomplish for yourself, and some personality growth as well that is ongoing for quite some time now. But that is squaring up to the needs and desires of your family, or what you would like to be doing in your personal private time. There is a clash in that time. There is some type of obstacle that is coming in here, but it requires attention in both areas. You cannot take care of others if you're not taking care of yourself. So that is definitely a priority, but you also need to show up for your children and your other loved ones as well. The good thing is squares have a lot of energy, so you can expend yourself in both direction. If you do not channel the energy, it ends up feeling like frustration. On the 11th, we have Mercury moving into Gemini, which is its home sign, and it's also trining with Pluto in Aquarius, and that's your 10th house. So the second house and the 10th house are working really well here. There can be some conversations you have with an authority figure, perhaps talking about promotion or getting some extra responsibility or changing your work hours in some way, such that you feel really good about the way that you earn money and the amount that you're getting as well. Also, it gives you that extra cushion that you can spend some more time doing what you enjoy, so your mindset is a lot more uplifted, and you feel as though you're making some good headway towards long-term goals. Okay, so you're feeling more secure mentally, logically, and the things that you're trying out at this time. The same day, we have Pluto retrograding back into Capricorn, where it was for the past decades. And now we're kind of looking at whether the things that we've learned so far change with this newfound attitude that Pluto has. In Aquarius, it is about shifting and changing for the greater good, for the collective, for the long haul. But in Capricorn, in your case, that would be your 9th house. It's about what you see the future as. Foreign travel, foreign culture, foreign languages as well. So now that you know what type of career you want to be doing, or you know what your ambition is saying, where your focus is shifting and changing, what do you feel about the future goals you've had so far? Let's say you have decided 5 years down the line, I'm going to be this, and now it is 5 years down the line, but something has changed in the last 5 years. So now the goals are not the same. So this recalibration is happening beyond this date. Then we have, same day, Venus in Leo squaring with Jupiter in your sign, in Taurus. So this can indicate overindulgence, or you're overspending on something. There can also be some type of tension that you want to take care of you, but at the same time there are certain goals and ambitions that you are fulfilling for other people as well, or other people are needing you in some way, but you want to be dealing with things a lot more slow paced. Perhaps your children are asking you for your attention and it needs to be right now. Meanwhile, or family, it can be family as well. Meanwhile, you need to take care of your personal development and sense of expansion. So that's a bit of a push and pull dynamic, but like I mentioned earlier, squares come with a lot of energy and both areas can be focused on. We just undersell the amount of energy we actually have, and we usually waste it in the form of frustration. Okay, now on the 15th, we have Mercury in Gemini squaring with Saturn in Pisces. So again, we have the second house and the 11th house square activation. So our finances versus our long-term goals, our aspirations in life. Like, I would love to work 3 days a week and take the 2 days off, and also commute, maybe work remote as well, live on a beach. These are the things that are like kind of distant dreams that may or may not come to fruition depending on whether we follow through with those things or not. That would be the 11th house. So there is some type of contrast that's happening where logically it's not making sense, or some big goal you have is not making sense, and some recalibration needs to be done around this time. And in Pisces, Saturn is asking you to find some type of structure where there was none. So instead of only dreaming about something, let's set up some structures to make it a reality at some point in the future. Maybe not right away, but let's put in the work so that it can have that potential. On the 17th, Saturn in Pisces goes retrograde, and in your 11th house, this can talk about restructuring the network you have. Perhaps you need to unfollow certain people, or subscribe to new channels, or subscribe to new pages on Instagram, or whatever it is. Maybe you're joining a different network. You have fallen apart with some friends, and it doesn't make sense to stay in touch with them just for the sake of formality. Saturn is all about narrowing things down. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. It does not need to be in your life anymore. And you, as an earth sign of practicality, I'm sure you appreciate this type of attitude as well. So Saturn here is giving you a lot more clarity from the inside out to show you what your priorities are now, or what structures would make sense in your life right now, and how you can get closer and closer through this recalibration towards your hopes and aspirations. On the 18th, we have a new moon in Gemini. That's your second house. So there can be new sources of income or new money ideas that come through to you, new sense of self-esteem and mindset regarding money as well. So, let's say you have a sense of poverty consciousness. You know that there are different ways that you can shift to an abundance mindset, but perhaps there have been some challenges in the past, but now on the 18th, you are overcoming those challenges. You are understanding that there is a different way of being, and you're able to see this perspective quite clearly, and that shows good returns, good promises for your financial and personal sense of security and priorities as well. On the 19th, we have a square between Sun and Neptune, and Sun is in Gemini and Neptune is in Pisces. So that second house and the 11th house square is again being activated, that Mercury and Saturn did on the 15th. But over here, we're looking at, is there something that is illusory? Is there an aspiration that we're just too dreamy about? Maybe there is no logical basis to it. In that case, what do? Do we become more logical, or do we become more dreamy? Do we care about the dream at all? Do we sacrifice it? That would not make us feel good. So the answer over here would likely be that you have to engage your intuition as well as your logic. You need to see what's practical and logical, of course, but that does not mean you can never get to those dreams and aspirations. So pay attention to your intuition and see what methods and opportunities make sense for you. On the 21st, we have the summer solstice, and we have the sun moving into Cancer. In the sign of Cancer, your third house, your focus is shifting from your finances to your communication sphere, your collaborative sphere. You might find yourself wanting to connect with your community, learning your local language, or connecting with the local community in some way, joining some pages, meeting people, connecting with neighbors, things like that. Also, it can be that you're talking to your siblings a lot more beyond this point, if you have any. Also, connecting with your authority figures is as well going to be more pleasant. So communication of all sorts is nice. If you are traveling, it's likely to be a short distance travel towards some place, either by the water or somewhere that really calls your heart and feels like home to you. You want to be drawn to these familiar spaces and familiar people around this time. On the 25th, we have Mercury in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces. Again, that same square between the 2nd and the 11th house is coming up here. More recalibration. Now we have a different priority, different focus rather, because the sun has now moved from Gemini to Cancer. So keeping in mind that you want to be comfortable, or you want to care for your emotional state, your close family members, and your other loved ones, you want to see again whether it still makes sense to follow that long-term goal. You might be looking at how we can make those things happen. Is it too illusory? Is it too delusional? Is there something that's not fitting? If it is not, then we can make those shifts right now, or rather on the 25th of June. And if it does make sense, then we need to figure out the logical steps still to create those dreams into reality at some point. On the 26th, we have Mars in Leo squaring Uranus in Taurus, and that's a square between your 4th house and you. So Mars in Leo is very high with willpower and confidence, and Venus is also here. So there's definitely a lot of love and attention that is coming from family family and you are giving to family as well. But this is squaring up with your need for freedom or your desire to break open a mold. Just because something has been going on for a long time doesn't mean it is the best way even now. So yes, certain personal breakthroughs and epiphanies can come through here that change the way that you behave with your family, or this can be vice versa, that there are some changes within the family, someone is being stubborn or something like that, and that kind of creates the change within you. You might see a different side of you that you had not seen before, or a different desire that comes up here that you might not be comfortable to act on immediately, but it still shows you a different facet of yourself and your inner needs. On the 27th, we have Mercury moving into Cancer from Gemini. So once again, your mental focus is as well shifting. Your mind is expanding more. Your thought process is clearer when you're taking care of your emotional needs, when you're connecting to your recuperation, connecting to the element of water and your intuition, creativity, things like this. When you're prioritizing your personal space, that's when your mind becomes rejuvenated. If you keep pushing it with more information and more to-do lists and to-do tasks and things like that, it's likely that Mercury is going to burn out in this time, or it's just going to become very moody and frustrated and anxious as well. So give it some rest, meditate a bit, sit quietly somewhere, go for a walk nearby. It's all going to refresh your mind. On the 29th, we have the Sun in Cancer trining Saturn in Pisces. This is a beneficial aspect, and this is benefiting your 3rd house and your 11th house. So your dreams are now, after all this recalibration we did in the previous weeks, in the end, everything is coming together. It's all starting to make sense. We have the structures we need. We're figuring out different ways of approaching things, and we're feeling really good. This is a very nice aspect for peace, bliss, and prosperity, and a sense of connectedness, a universal sense of connectedness, and also a personal one. On the 30th, Neptune in Pisces goes retrograde, and this is where reality sets in. When Neptune is direct, it's all la la land. It's all very beautiful. Roses are amazing and the grass is really green and everything is sweet and all of that. But when it goes retrograde, there is a sense of disillusionment, because what we thought was perfect and nothing could ever go wrong has certain flaws. So let's say you want to be an artist and you're like, oh, the life of the artist is just the best. That's what I want to be doing. It's perfect. There's nothing that can annoy me in that field. But then you start approaching it on the 29th, and on the 30th onwards, you'll start seeing, okay, so it's not really all dreamy land. There are some flaws over here. This particular thing I do not like, and so on and so forth. But we still have another trine going on this day. Mercury in Cancer is trining Saturn in Pisces, the same aspect as we had the previous day. So even if there is a bit of a reality check, you're still enjoying it. Your mind is still on board. It's like, it's okay, everything can't be all roses and sunshine. We can figure things out. There is a new plan that we can discover, restructure things to make sense. Nothing is pulling you down around this time. We're ending the month on a wonderful note. So that's what I have for you. Thank you for being here. I really hope you enjoyed and that the messages help you out throughout the month. Stay tuned for the tarot reading for your zodiac sign as well. I will be uploading them soon. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified whenever that's up. And if you enjoyed the reading, please do like and comment your thoughts if you have any. It will be really lovely to hear back from you, and it really helps the channel grow as well. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye.